Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Professor Shanahan, and Professor Jin and I are going to talk about our study abroad program to China at the end of the school year. We'll have some time for Q&A, but mostly we just want to give you a sense of the program and make sure, everything's clear and what's involved. So first of all, the travel is during winter quarter or winter break after fall quarter this year, 2025. Okay, and it's called Imagining the Future with China. It's a program we've run 3 times in the past. We created it about almost 10 years ago. And the whole idea of it is the fact that China is becoming increasingly important as a power in the world and, what it means for culture and economy and politics and everything else. So, if you've been paying attention to the news lately because of tariffs, but lots of other things, people have been writing a lot about how China is trying to become a leader in lots of different tech fields and how to, increase its weight in the world. As recently as just almost 2 weeks ago, Thomas Friedman from the New York Times was interviewing people in China and wrote, and he quotes someone here, there was a time when people came to America to see the future. Now they come here, meaning, China. Okay, so I'll give a little time for each of us to say what the classes are.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Professor Jin. So the first class is Professor Jin's before
Yeah,
we.
so I want to mention the structure for December 2025. All the December short-term programs actually is you take a course with a professor and prepare for the trip, and then you travel during the winter break, usually after Thanksgiving and before Christmas. When you come back in winter quarter, you take course with the second professor. So for our program, the fall quarter, this coming fall quarter, you can take the course Sichuan 209E or the AES 209 Chinese Youth Cultures. For this class, remember, I want to remind everyone this is an academic program. That's why you need to take the 2 classes there. You're not only going to China as a tourist, you're also a student. You're learning, you're studying about specific topic. So in my class, we'll talk a lot about Chinese pop culture, but also we will discuss the social issues faced by Chinese students, how the social issues actually shape their view of about their future, how they're how they view the future. I mean, with China playing a bigger role, but also with this larger political. I may cover that. I will see the political economic confrontations with the rivalry with the U.S. So this course, so you were learning, reading all about this when we're reading about journal articles, we're reading about newspaper stories, the in fall quarter. Then when you travel to China during the winter break, I want you to talk to your peers. So we're going to visit the 3 universities, at least 3 universities in China, one in each city. There you will have conversations with the Chinese students. They are face to face, and then to
Mhm.
ask about their views. So now you are reading about it before the trip, and then you talk to real people on the trip. So this hopefully my class can be combined, kind of integrated into the trip, kind of seamlessly. So you're kind of combining the readings with your personal experience. All right. And then also
Okay.
in my class, I will also help everyone to also prepare. Professor Shanahan will also, doing this along with me. So we will prepare for the trip. For example, we're going to go through those logistic issues we're going to give you the all information about the flights and then the hotel information, and also prepare you with the visa, the passport visa, and also any other information you need to prepare for the trip. We're probably learn a little bit Chinese as well. So some of you remember this program doesn't have any language requirements, but it will help if you know a little bit Chinese, because there's some free days you're gonna wander around by yourself or with your other team members. If you know some Chinese, it'll be more fun for you to walk around, to wander around. So that's what we plan to do. So we'll make sure before you leave Chicago for my class can make you feel like you're fully ready for the trip. Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
class. Okay.
Okay. Okay. And then we travel during winter break of 2025. We leave the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Then when you come back, you'll see winter 2026 is my science fiction class. It's going to be global science fiction, but obviously we're going to read a lot of contemporary Chinese science fiction, mostly Three Body Problem and some other things. You may have seen the Netflix series, or hopefully you'll watch it soon. It's a global property now. It's part of China's soft power, the way K-pop is really important for Korea and self-identity and things. And if you've been watching the news, you'll know that China and its own trying to stake its place in the world through DeepSeek, and I have the picture above it of the Chang'e rover that's on the moon and things like that. China's really trying to go neck and neck with the US for especially the future of space. Okay, so this is an overview just so you can see on a map at one glance what we're doing. We land in Beijing, and then we take high-speed trains twice, once to Xi'an and once to Chengdu. Okay, and so if you look on the left, you'll see the kind of day by day, and it's roughly in thirds. So, 3 big cities. First, about a week in Beijing. There's a day to walk on the Great Wall. It's outside the city. It's a day trip. We will visit the Beijing Language and Culture University. We'll go along through Tiananmen Square, go into the Forbidden City, things like that. Actually, I won't say more about individual things here because we have slides for each city, but so you can picture it on the map. These are not common cities, especially Chengdu, for casual US travelers. So this is an interesting opportunity to learn about.
Xi'an for sure. Xi'an, I rarely see tourists there. Domestic tourists, mostly domestic tourists, not international tourists.
Yeah. Okay, well, so Beijing will be very familiar to people just, as a place and a name, but you'll see up in the top right corner is the gate at Tiananmen, and that's the south entrance to the Forbidden City. The center picture is from above. We will go in there and have the tour. That will all be arranged. We buy the tickets and handle all that. And so, we will wander in the Forbidden City. Down in the bottom center, you'll see a picture from our 2018 program, and we're at the base of the wall. So we're about to walk it. It's back behind us. Up, you'll see the mountains there. So that's where the Great Wall is. We're going to visit with students at Beijing Language and Culture University, probably also Tsinghua University, and maybe some others. We know people at many universities there, and the students are all happy to come, hang out with us, practice English, and do things like that. You'll see in the bottom left corner another picture from our program a few years ago, students in front of the National Museum. And, we'll go to night markets and walk through neighborhoods and things like that. Lee, do you want to add anything about Beijing?
Beijing here, one thing everyone knows about Beijing, exactly the reason why we're going there, especially when you understand about the future of China, a future with China playing a bigger role there. The other thing I want to mention, the Beijing Language and Culture University, where we have a lot of DePaul students studying abroad there in China. Many go to Beijing Language and Culture University. So this is another reason we're choosing this university. I forgot to mention earlier, so in my fall class, but also probably in Professor Shanahan's class as well, right? We will actually organize online Zoom-based meetings between you and also the students who are going to visit there in China. So we're asking invite some students, whoever, from this each city, college students, by the way. We plan to visit them on the trip, but then we'll also invite them to be our like a study buddy, so you can get to know about each other, and then when you arrive to each city, you get to meet with them in person. So this is where you can have some connections even before you go to China.
Yeah, that's a great point. You can kind of pre-meet and then see them when we get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next city
Xi'an, can I go through Xi'an?
Yes,
so you can, Chengdu is yours. Okay. So Xi'an, we're choosing Xi'an. One reason here is Xi'an is so famous. Also, it's a significant culture, provide a signature culture, how to say this, its origin, provided kind of cultural origin for Chinese people there. So Xi'an is the capital city, was the capital city of the Tang Dynasty, which so far was the most economically, culturally prominent dynasty in Chinese history there. So everyone knows about the Silk Road there, right? Silk Road literally started in Xi'an there. The merchants travel from Xi'an to go to the Middle East, eventually go to Rome, but also the merchants from the Middle East also travel from there. I forgot Marco Polo maybe started
Yeah.
from here or later on, yeah, traveled from there, Italy to China. So through this, because of this Silk Road, right now, there's a east-west cultural exchange, and also because of this China, the Buddhism also the Islamism also came to China as well over there as well. So when we are in Xi'an, in addition to visiting terracotta warriors, we all know about this one very famous terracotta warriors for the first emperor of China, but also we visit some kind of a very famous Muslim street where you can see large number of Muslim residents there, and then they are actually very localized, but they have their own religions, they have their own customs, own food as well. So we'll experience the multiculturalism there in Xi'an. And with to understand about history, but also the multiculturalism of China, kind of have a glimpse of traditional Chinese culture there, but also traditional the aspect of Chinese society. Then in Xi'an, we also will visit university, Xi'an University of Architecture and Technology, mainly because we used to have a visiting professor from this university here, DePaul, teaching Chinese literature for about 2 years. So we're going to visit this university with meet the professor and also students, but also we will invite some famous, based on our conversation so far, we're going to invite a very famous science fiction writer who's teaching in a university now far away from this university, and she will come. So based on our current plan, she will come to meet with us, and maybe this will was integrated with the professor Shanahan's class, science fiction class, I think. Right.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, then we hop on the next high-speed train to go to Chengdu, the capital of Sichuan province. And it's famous, probably most famous for two things, the pandas, you see in the middle, and hot pot and like spicy food down in the bottom right. But we're there because it's also a cultural centerpiece of more than 2,000 years. But in the last few decades, it's famous for science fiction publishing. You wouldn't expect that, but anyway, it just has a long history of that. Behind the panda, you can't see the building too well, but there is a science fiction museum, a huge one, the size of like our field museum, that was built in 2023. And so we will visit that. We'll have a chance to explore the city some. We will go to the Sanxingdui Museum. That's the top picture there. This is a kind of still somewhat mysterious culture discovered only like in the last 20, 25 years. We'll go to that new museum, and over on the top right, probably a day trip because it's not exactly in the city, is the Leshan Great Buddha. And you'll see that picture there by the river. People walk along from up near his head, and you go down a lot of stairs down to where his feet are and things like that. And there's lots of other Buddhist caves in that area. It's a pretty exciting place. Okay.
I want to add one more thing here.
Mhm.
I heard the average height of people actually here is as tall as the toe of the Buddha, the big Buddha statue
Right.
here. Yeah.
Right. If you look at that picture, you'll see down by his feet,
People
there are
there,
people
tourists
walking.
there.
Yeah. So that's how big it is. Okay. So here's the details you may want to know. And then since we have probably an extra minute here to do, I'll see if this plays. This video is about Chongqing, which is about an hour and a half drive from Chengdu, and we're expecting to do either a long day trip or an overnight to Chongqing, a massive megacity that is also known as a kind of cyberpunk city for interesting ways. So let's see if this
Why do
plays.
people say Chongqing, China is the prettiest mega city? Because if you think you're on the first floor, you might actually on the 22nd. If you are shocked when seeing buildings constructed on mountains, what about at night? It's like you're in a real-life version of Spirited Away, with cyberpunk architecture that seems to have come from the year 2050. People come to experience the city's magical urban adventures, like the metro that goes through a building, the large chimney thermometer, to take a cable car across the Yangtze River, the 3D magical bookstore, and the devilish overpass. To find a local covered ball tea house, you will climb many steps up a mountain. Amidst the towering modern buildings, you step into the alleys of old Chongqing, as if traveling back 1,000 years. As the visual makeup continuously changes, the audience applauds and cheers. Chongqing locals rarely visit trending hot pot or sour and spicy noodles restaurants. The best food is always hidden in their alleyways. A pot of tea, a bamboo chair, experiencing Chongqing's leisurely afternoon and the city's romance. And you may.
Okay. So that's just a little, so we can say a little bit about this other dimension. But what's important is on the left and the center. So, Professor Jin, do you want to talk about this part?
For the application information here, so we will actually go through all of this with details in fall in the class. But right now, it's mainly give you some information. Many of you probably care about the program fee here. I think and Kat, you from the study board office, so we're still working on like finalizing the entire budget, right? So right now the approximate program fee is about $3,500, which will cover your airfare, the two-way from Chicago to China, and all the travels, local travels there, but also our hotel, the accommodations, and our group meals, as well as the other like entrance fees to museums,
train tickets, museums, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and tour guide. We're gonna for each city, we're gonna have a tour guide. Tour guides are way better at telling stories about the local place we visit. So all of this will be covered in your program fee. One thing I don't know, we're allowed to mention this. We're working with the university there in China. Hopefully, we're working on a kind of grant. If we get a grant, hopefully we're gonna lower down the program fee, which is we're still working on. We don't know yet. But the program fee right now probably will go down, right? So.
We hope.
Yeah. So in addition to the program fee there, you may want to bring at least $300 because you're going to have some free days there, right? Tour around by yourself. You're going to buy food you're going to eat on your own, or with other groups, you're going to pay out of your own pocket. But also, many times this is your first time to travel in China, so you want to buy some souvenirs, especially, I don't know, right now the tariffs going on there, probably it's way cheaper to buy things in China than here in the US. So bring enough money so you can also buy souvenirs or anything you can bring back to the US. That's on yourself. Okay.
Okay, and then you'll see in the middle, the two classes we teach will earn liberal studies credit in two different ways. Professor Jin's for SCBI domain, mine for arts and lit domain, and either class can be used for experiential learning. So if you want to get some liberal studies credit from the program, you can do that too. Okay, that's
one more thing I want to add. Students really care about this one. Okay. About can we go back a little bit before you show the pictures? It's about the hotel. So for each city, we're going to stay in a hotel, and usually you have to share a room with share your hotel room with another classmate. So that means in fall, you need to get to know about your classmate, really find a person you really get along with to be your roommate. Otherwise, there may be drama coming up during the trip, and then we don't want to scramble on the trip to find a new roommate for you anyway. So. Yeah. So in fall, it's important for you to really just not only learn about, we're going through the reading materials, everything, but you also get to know about the group members.
Yeah, and we've run several study abroads before, so we know. I mean, the team dynamics is important. We all help each other, and it's very far from home. So we're quite aware that people need to all pitch in, and all during the fall, we work on that. Just get to know each other and know what helps. So. Okay,
and
great.
I'd like to just say one thing really quick about that as well. When you do commit to the program, you'll have to fill out like a health questionnaire and a housing form. And our housing form is very specific in that you can say like what you don't want in a roommate, what you do want in a roommate. If you're a night person, a morning person, an active person, a messy person, a very like insanely clean person. So just know that too, like it'll be easier than you might suggest or than you might think just off the bat to find someone who would be like a good candidate for a roommate with you.
The other thing I want to add, we've been asked about this question quite a few times. Students, if you're concerned, I'm a vegetarian, I need a gluten-free food, and then certain things, the dietary restrictions. So we have lots of experience in this area. This is not the first time for us to take students to China, so we sort of know how to help you with this. So feel free. I think a study board office, the form when you send out to students, they would ask about your dietary restriction as well, right? So put all the information there. So we will absolutely take into consideration when we're signing roommates, when we're organizing some group activities. Yeah, we want you to enjoy the experience. We don't want you to suffer throughout the trip anyway. So
right.
Yeah.
And no one is forced to eat anything they don't want to eat. You just
yes.
It's like cool. All right. So are there questions?
For Chengdu, yeah, I heard it's not easy to find unspicy food in Chengdu. So
true.
Both Professor Shanahan and I, we both love spicy food. So if you don't like spicy food, please let us know. At least in Chengdu, we need to prepare ahead and maybe you find some special place. I heard it mainly because spicy food is the main cuisine style.
Yeah.
Like they are in Chengdu, even if you order unspicy food, because the wok they use to prepare any food is already spicy. So
You'll be eating at Subway or McDonald's in
maybe
Chengdu.
American restaurant for you to eat if it's necessary. Anyway, it'd be fun to explore some other unspicy food in Chengdu.
All
You like
right,
spicy?
I'll
Okay,
send
we
that.
welcome students who love spicy food.
All right. Any other questions?
So another question I often hear from students is, this is your first time to travel to China. First, I want to mention there's no language requirements, and we do have mentioned earlier we have tour guides, but we also may have quite a few students who already know some Chinese. They can offer some help. Each time when we took students to China, there are always some students who already know some Chinese, right, on the trip. They can help us. So I saw Jordan. You just log in. Jordan, I think your Chinese is already fluent, right? You finished your third year Chinese. So Jordan, if you decide to join us on the trip, you can help other students who have no Chinese language proficiency to navigate, sometimes provide some help. It's more fun. You can be a teacher there as well.
Yeah, what we've ended up doing, I mean, I only know a little bit. I'm not very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do have a few students who know, different levels of Chinese, some fluent, and we tend to, end up grouping if we split up and people go off on their own for dinners or for lunches. It's like try to have, some distribution in the groups of some folks who can handle. That said, there's a lot of English around, and anyone who's been to college and most even, students through high school have studied several years of English, and it might not be great, but, they're happy to try and talk and, it's like, and there's plenty of phone apps now to make things a lot easier. So,
yeah. Okay. So the other thing I want to mention here is because it's your first time to travel to China, some of your parents probably want to go as well. That's what I heard. I already talked to two parents already, two students' parents. So if parents want to go, as far as I know, the whole rule is the parents are not allowed to travel with us, right? But they can book their own airplane tickets. They can book the hotel as a same hotel, but they are not allowed to go out on our trip. So although they can see you during the free time, like remember sometimes in some cities we have a half day free day, right? You can travel, go out by yourself. Then you can use the free time, spend the free time with your parents. Or some other days we have a daytime trips, but in the evening you can spend time with your parents if you want to, right? Is it allowed for cat? I'm not so sure about, but free days for sure. But for the other.
Oh, sorry, Lee. I was gonna say, we've had in the past too some students who have like family, like relatives, cousins or something. Like when we were in Hong Kong last year, there was a student who, had distant relatives to visit. You can do those kinds of things, given enough, information about where you're going and things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you both put it really well. Like anything that's, paid for by DePaul and like was included in the program, feel like program related activities, parents or friends outside the program, or if you know someone who lives there or something, like they're not allowed to come with on that like kind of excursion or program activities. But, free time is free time. Like you said, you can do what you will with your free time in the program. So if you do have other people there, feel free to spend time with them. Yeah.
You can, if you have friends in each of the cities we're going to visit, feel free to visit them, hang around with them. When our group doesn't have any kind of like activities, so you're welcome to do so. We just want you to be safe there, right?
And then a really quick note about just the logistical study abroad housekeeping stuff. Please make sure that you submit your application in full by May 1st. That is the deadline for December programs, and there's no separate scholarship application. So if you apply by that May 1st deadline, you are automatically considered for DePaul Study Abroad scholarships from our office. We have your FAFSA information on file, like from other offices in the university. We have your GPA and academic information, and basically we have built like a formula that we put all of this information into and kind of tiers students amongst high levels of need and pairs them with GPA, and creates like award disbursement based on those qualifications. So a lot of standard awards, most of the awards that we give out are around $1,000. Some are more and some are less, but I would say standard award amount is $1,000. And not every student gets that amount, but we do give out a great deal of awards to students. And just know, again, I know I get annoying with this, but I have to keep hammering it home. If you don't pull the trigger and hit that submit button, and then on May 3rd, you send me an email saying, hi, I changed my mind. I really want to be in the program, but I need financial aid. There is nothing we can do about it at that point. You are only considered for those scholarships if you apply by the deadline. So.
So Kat, I have a question here to clarify. So the students have to fill up the entire form, putting all the information and submit it, or they can just start submitting, fill up some of the information and then leave other blank, but then still submit it by May 1st.
Yeah, so like now to May 1st, you can open an application, start it, you can save it, leave it, and come back to it. It's not like you open a browser and it's one go and it erases if it times out. No, you can, if you have 10 free minutes and you're like, oh, I have a free moment to start on my application, you can log into your DePaul Study Abroad account, go to the application, fill out a question, save it, and come back to it later. But your total application, like questionnaire, needs to be submitted by May 1st at 11:59 p.m.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I wasn't clear on that. I thought you just had to have it started. So okay,
no, it is due.
Okay.
It is due.
That's one thing I heard John saying this to the other class.
I said it earlier too.
We need to clarify this.
Okay, I won't say that again. Okay.
Due May 1st. Yeah, definitely. And we send out from our office a lot of communications that will say that as well, especially closer to that application deadline. And then I'm not sure if either of you mentioned it, and I'm actually not sure on this anyway. Are you conducting interviews for applicants, or you will be conducting interviews? So students should be prepared then to meet with the professors before receiving an admissions decision, just to have a general talk about if they're a good fit for the program, their aspirations, their application answers, etc. And just gives you a good idea of what the program is going to be like and connecting with those faculty beforehand.
Here, I want to clarify this. I also received this kind of questions from students, and they said, okay, what's the concern about the acceptance rate about this program? So I want to see, on behalf of Professor Shanahan, I want to see we actually are welcome any students who are interested, who are serious about studying China to be on the trip. So as long as you meet the basic, very basic criteria, they are like a GPA, like a 2.5. You don't have serious issues there, and you are also kind of mature enough because you're going to be on a trip. You're going to be the independent person, on your own there most times. So you want you to be, self-disciplined. You're a serious student. You're not going there just bring troubles to us. Then I think you will be accepted. Very possibly you will be accepted. So the acceptance rate.
There is a limit of 20, right?
Limit 20. Yes.
Okay, we took 20 before, and I'm pretty sure, and so far we already have over 24 at least started. So this is to say, for students, just to be clear, if we had to, we may have to say no to a few, just if it's over 20, right? Okay.
Yeah, and now actually, if a student is a good candidate, if they meet that GPA threshold, if they interviewed well and everything, but it just comes down to, oh, these two are great students, but which one will be the better fit for the program? We actually, if they are generally a good candidate, do not deny students outright anymore. We keep them on a wait list because a lot of times students might bite off more than they can chew, or might not end up being able to financially afford the program, or unforeseen circumstances, basically. So we do keep that communication coming from our office, during the decision period, but we'll let you know if you're accepted or waitlisted. And then if students drop off who were accepted, we reach out and try to fill that spot with those on the wait list. So
great.
So Kat, can you clarify this also to me as well? Even after students being admitted, so how long how to see this one? How many days do they have before they have to commit, or just give us an answer whether they're going to commit to the program or not?
Absolutely. Yeah. So application deadline is May 1st. We usually like to have a finalized, we ask faculty to usually have a good idea by May 1st, or a few days after of who they're thinking they're going to accept, right? So that we can get those acceptance decisions out as soon as possible to students. And then we usually give them from the date that we accept them around a week and a half to confirm. And then say you got a scholarship or didn't get a scholarship, and the scholarship that you did get is not enough. Say you wanted to submit a scholarship appeal form with our office, if you didn't receive a scholarship or that scholarship was too little. And you won't find out until after that original confirmation deadline date, what your new updated scholarship appeal decision is. We will definitely never, ever, ever make you commit to a program if you are financially unsure of whether you can take on that load. We will always like extend your confirmation deadline by a few days until you actually know, what that appeal decision is. So you're never going to be put in a situation if you're unsure of your financial position where you're forced to commit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then also, I do want to say about the program fee and the cost in general. Normally by this time, like 2 weeks out from the application deadline, we would have the program cost and fees created so that you all could be, working on that budgeting with your family or yourself, planning financially. But with the US and international relations at the moment, especially with China, it has been pretty difficult being transparent with our vendors, being able to like lock down rates, lock down flights in general. And flights are like the first step. So thankfully we have that as of today actually confirmed reserved for flight reservations.
Good.
But literally as of today, but we will have like the entire quote and everything by May 1st. And like I said, like you can always apply, submit your application, and you are not financially committed in any way, shape, or form. Like if you're interested in the program, submit your application to the program and be considered for acceptance. If you applied, you're not financially committed. If you're accepted, you're not financially committed. You are not responsible for any cost until you click that commit button. And even then you have until 90 days out from the program to be able to cancel your enrollment. And you'll see all of that in the withdrawal policy as well. And that's on our website if you wanted to look into that now.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
good to know.
I've got to go to a 4:00 meeting. I'm sorry.
So do I.
Okay. All right. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you so much, you all. And we'll send out a recording to all your colleagues that could not make it as well. So all
Feel
right.
free
Thank
to
you so,
reach
so
out to
much.
us if you have any
Yeah.
follow-up questions. So our email addresses.
Absolutely.
Mm.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.